In this video I'll talk about the OSI model. The OSI model represents the way devices communicate with each other on the network. This is what the OSI model looks like. When sending data, the packets start at the top of the sending computer and work their way down the layers. They then reach the destination and work their way back up the layers to where the user can see. There are 7 layers. The layers go in order of what the user can see. So at the top is the application. This will be the internet browser. Below that is the operating system. So it goes in order of what the user is actually seeing on the computer. So as I was saying, layer 7 is the application layer. This is the software on the computer which the user is interacting with. This could be Google Chrome or any other web browser. Protocols such as HTTP operate at this layer. The protocol tells the web server the user is trying to view a certain page. The web server will send the HTML to the browser. The user can then see and begin to interact with the website. Layer 6 is a presentation layer. This is the layer the operating system works on. The operating system will change the data it has received over the network so the application the data belongs to can understand. The application shows the data to the user in layer 7. This layer will format and encrypt the data to be sent across the network. Layer 5 is the session layer. At this layer, a session is created between the 2 PCs or devices trying to connect to each other. Going back to the website example from layer 7, the session layer will be connecting to the web server and your computer. It will be connecting them both together. It then sends the message to the web server requesting access to the web page. The web server responds, sending the HTML to the web browser. The session layer will then end the conversation between the PC and the server and terminate the link. Layer 4 is a transport layer. This is responsible for transferring the data to the PC. It will decide the amount of data you can send out of a PC to the destination as well as how much data your PC receives from the web server. Layer 3 is the network layer. This is where routing takes place. This is where protocols such as IP is used to give every device on the network an address. When packets come into the network, the router will route the packets to the correct PC based on the IP address. Layer 2 is the data link. When sending data at this layer, the file is broken down into packets and sent across the network. Packets are sent across the network using the layer 1 cables. This layer is where the switches and hubs are used. Switches receive packets from devices and send them to the correct destination. These packets have the MAC address and port number which they need to be sent to. The MAC address is a physical address of the device. The MAC address is unique to that device and no other device will have the same address. Switches use the packets which are sent to them to learn about the network. So let's do an example. If PC5 is trying to communicate with PC8, once the switch receives the packets, they will say which MAC address they have come from and which port they have come from. The packets will give the MAC address of where they are trying to get to. The switch will then connect to each port looking for that MAC address. Now let's say PC1 is sending packets to PC5. The switch will remember the port number and MAC address from before. It will then send the packet straight to the correct port. By remembering MAC addresses, this speeds up connections as the switch doesn't have to constantly check ports searching for MAC addresses. The bottom layer is layer 1, which is the physical layer. This is the cables and ports connecting the devices together. These will carry the signals to the devices around the network. Let's look at the network and see where each part of the OSI model is being used. So layer 1 is the physical layer. This is all the cables connecting the devices on the network. Layer 2 is the data link, is the 3 switches, the one inside each site on the network. The network layer is the 3 routers on the network in the triangle formation in the middle. Layer 4 is a transport layer. This would take place on the PCs and the other end devices. Layer 5 is a session layer. This would take place between any two end devices. So PC 3 may want to print a document. It would need to create a session with the printer to do so. Or PC 5 may want to access a file from the file server. A session would need to be created for the computer to request the file. Layer 6 is a presentation layer. This is where the computer's operating system is, which is here, the desktop. Layer 7 is the software a user is using. This could be email or an internet browser. Like here. I covered everything I want to for this video. That's the OSI model. That's it. Thank you.